Today, we have world-renowned critical minerals expert and, of course, rare earth global expert, Jack Lifton. Jack, Trump has just decided to not attend a meeting with President Xi in Korea. Let's talk about that.
I think that President Trump has done this to avoid looking bad, to avoid humiliation, because in this trade war, China's got all the cards. Not only do they currently produce the lion's share of the world's rare earths, they process even more than that share into end user products. So what the Chinese have done in the last few days, and things that took effect immediately, and some of these rules take effect November 25th, is essentially cut the West off from technology, from processing technology. That's very important, because I think on a business level, this is to stifle competition, because all we talk about in the United States and Europe is restarting or reshoring or some other nonsense about the rare earth permanent magnet industry. Yet we have not done any of that. We talk about it. To do it, we need in the near term, to do it as soon as possible, we need Chinese machinery and some Chinese advice, okay? Because for the last 30 years, the Chinese have been nonstop developing these industries. We have stopped those industries cold in the West. The one or two companies, one in Europe and one in Great Britain, that still make rare earth permanent magnets and rare earth metals and alloys are so tiny a part of the global market that they're unimportant. They really are. Okay. So we don't have that industry anymore. China dominates and has that industry. A distant second is Japan, and an extremely distant third is Korea. President Xi, of course, is very aware of all of this. And he's been watching, I think, the bombast that comes out of Washington about we've awarded $1 trillion to this one, and we're giving that one a higher price than the world market so that they will have a reason to produce. And this one's going to make magnets, and that one's going to make metals. And all of this has been, quite frankly, an air heating exercise, because none of these choices have any experience in doing what they're talking about, and have any track record, and quite frankly, don't have any experienced, skilled people. I think what people don't understand is that for the last 20 years, anyone getting into rare earth processing has been buying Chinese machinery, Chinese equipment, Chinese manuals, and bringing Chinese engineers to their country or their location to show them how to do this. What the Chinese have done, we'll say President Xi has done now, is say, in the last few months, and certainly as of now, this is all forbidden. No machinery can be exported. No Chinese citizen may assist a foreign company in any aspect of the rare earth industry. Now, the Chinese say this, of course, only applies to dual-use materials. What does that mean? That they can be used not only for civilian purposes, but also for military purposes. But the Chinese are the ones who decide whether or not the product has a dual use. And as of now, any Chinese company that wants to export, for example, a rare earth permanent magnet to the United States, has to prove to the Chinese government that that magnet will not be used in a military application. Now, those who are all upset about this seem to forget that the United States prohibited the export of chips, specialty chips, to China last year, okay? Because we were concerned that the Chinese would, one, get ahead of us in things like automation, robotics, and AI, and two, use those specialty chips in advanced military hardware. So what's sauce for the goose seems to be sauce for the gander. Okay, now, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, President Trump is concerned with optics, as they say. He doesn't want to look bad. In this case, we cannot restart or recreate our rare earth permanent magnet industry in America without Chinese machinery in the short term. Can we develop these machines and train ourselves in these technology? Sure. We can probably do that in 5 or 10 years. Okay? You can't do it overnight. We just don't have the people. There's no continuity in North America or Europe of these technologies. Our financializers gave it all over to China in order to get a lower cost. And in the meantime, they just said to those who worked in those industries, learn how to code, do something else, work in McDonald's or Starbucks. They didn't give a damn. And now this is turned around and is biting us in the ass. Trump knows this. He doesn't want to be embarrassed. I don't know if he understands that his Department of War, Energy, Commerce, Interior have not done a very good job. I'm not saying they could have done a good job. They were suddenly told, you have to bring this industry back to the United States. And no one said, how do you do that? No one asked, what are the steps? What are the choke points? They just said, hey, here's a guy, he just walked in here. Look, he's wearing bespoke shoes and he's got a custom made suit. And he says he works on Wall Street and that he can make magnets. Let it be so, they said in Washington. And now, excuse the metaphor, the chickens come home to roost. The Chinese have all the cards and they don't feel like dealing them out. So we are, in the near term, screwed. And one thing we know about Donald Trump, he doesn't like to be embarrassed. So he rather than let Xi, shall we say, defecate all over him, he's saying, I'm not going to the party. That's as simple as that. It's politics. It's politics. Now, of course, it's about trade, but it's politics. And both these men, Xi and Trump, they live on optics, on appearances. Right now, Xi is in a better position. Donald Trump doesn't like to go to meetings where he's the second guy in the meeting. So that's what this is all about. He's got nothing to talk to Xi. Xi said, you started it. I'm going to finish it. I mean, we all had this situation in high school. For me, that was 3 generations ago. It's a little sooner for you. Okay, that's what it's all about. There's nothing special here. We have failed to recreate that industry. We've talked a good game. We haven't done it. China has the industry. We need their products. Our military needs some of them. Our civilian market needs them. We can't do it. Okay? We need their help. They are saying, what are you willing to give for that? And right now, they're saying, you said you wanted to do it? Go ahead and do it. We are not so big a market for Chinese rare earth products that they can't live without us. 80% of rare earths produced in China are consumed in China. Yes, some of it's for export, but there's other export markets. What do you think the Belt and Road Initiative has been about for the last 20 years? China's created an Asian and near Asian marketplace, which is quite large. And if they lose the American rare earth magnet market, for example, what do they lose? Maybe 5% of their production. So what? That's what this is all about. This is 2 populist leaders facing off.
I have some questions for you, Jack.
Yeah.
President Xi has just added another 5 rare earths to his export ban out of China. Can we go through these really quickly, and maybe you can help us understand why they're on his hot list, starting with holmium?
Holmium is used in making magnets, so that I understand it.
Erbium.
Erbium is used in fiber optics communications.
Thulium.
Thulium, I have no idea of any use of thulium.
Actually, we've known each other a long time, Jack. I can't remember the last time we discussed thulium, so I'll be looking that one up this afternoon and reminding myself, probably call our friend Alistair Neal. Europium.
Europium is used in phosphors and therefore in lighting and displays. Okay.
And of course, ytterbium.
Ytterbium must have military uses because it was one of the 2 rare earths that in the teens of this century the U.S. Department of Defense was requiring. I never did find out why, but I don't know what the use of ytterbium is.
Well, of course, as always, Jack, it's a real pleasure. Thank you for the update, and for everybody out there in Investor News and Critical Minerals Institute, we'll continue to keep you updated. Thank you.
Thanks.